Have you ever felt like your whole life is boxed in? The same job, the same bills, the same emptiness? Ron definitely did. An army behind him, family split across the planet, $11 an hour, with zero sunlight at the horizon. But then at some random late night click, everything changed. YouTube, of all places. Ron finds a video like no other. Something real. No hype, no sales, but actually proof. And he thinks there's no way that this is on YouTube. But there was something in his gut that just didn't want it to scroll past it. So he just goes for it, dives in, and starts from zero. He didn't have a tech degree or fancy words, just stubbornness and determination. The weeks are passing, and suddenly Ron builds a voice AI agent so extremely good, it replaces 30 people. The sad thing is that most people scroll past the only shot that actually matters. But Ron didn't. So, would you? What if the single most important skill that changes your whole life is actually hiding in the tab that you're always closing?
Awesome. Well, Ron, appreciate your time. Appreciate you being here. I heard amazing things, and I think I'm even more excited getting some insights on what was happening, because you've been one of, I think, our longest members, and you somehow managed to choose a path that we didn't even had on our screen, and it's incredibly exciting. So yeah, I'd love maybe for you to share a bit about like what you did before and how you came to us in the first place.
Yeah. So, if we go way back when I was in the Army, I got out of the Army back in 2002. And long story short, I ended up in sales, right? I started off in construction because when I got out of the Army, my cousin owned a construction company, and it was just an easy transition. I got in there real quick, and I was able to learn and just busting my ass physically, And but it was like $11 an hour, and that was the going rate back then. And my family's from Germany. I married my wife in the Army. She's German, and I had my 3 kids. So they're stuck in Germany, and I'm here in America trying to make it work. And at $11 an hour, it would have took me 20 years to save the money to get them back. So, and my brother-in-law, he was in sales, in car sales, and he was paying for everything, our meals, out, going, doing all sorts of stuff. And he always pulled out this big wad of cash, right? I'm like, that's where I got to get to. So I joined sales, and I made enough money in sales that first month or 2 months, I believe, to bring my whole family over, get a condo, get my car, and do all that. It was good money in car sales back then. And then the bottom fell out, the car sales, because that was in 2007, I believe, 2006, early 2006 is when we started seeing the signs. I'd have to work harder and longer to make the same amount of money. And then my sales were getting better. They weren't getting worse, but I was making less and less money because people were buying cars. And that was just before the bubble burst on the housing market, that whole thing here in the States. And so I got out of car sales, got into other sales. And then during my sales journey, the guys that were making the real money, because I was seeing the owners of these companies cut huge checks to the people creating the leads, right? These companies were paying that I worked for thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars per week on lead generation. So I thought, maybe if I learned how to create leads, I would, make some more money, right? And that got me into marketing and lead generation and all of that. And I'm telling you the fast story, so you kind of get where I'm coming from. So I went from Army to construction to sales to marketing and lead generation, which eventually led me to a company where we were producing leads for mortgage companies. And the mortgage company sucked really bad. They were telling us how bad our leads were, right? So we called the leads, and that they didn't suck at all, right? I'm like, not me, but the owner of the company is like, I think we can do a better job. So he started a mortgage company and made us all go out and study and get our licenses to become licensed mortgage brokers. And anyways, long story short, we did that and did very well at that, except once again, the market just sucks right now for housing. So I was a licensed mortgage broker and a real estate agent, and just not making the money that I need to. So that forced me to learn yet another skill, which was chatbots. I started in chatbots. doing that and just going out and getting local clients to, put those little chat bots on people's websites. And I kept getting the feedback from these clients. Hey, can you make it talk? And I noticed nobody wanted chatbots. They wanted an actual AI system that can talk to them. And so I started scouring the internet, and lo and behold, I found you, Jannis. Is it Jannis? It's Jannis, right? It's not Jannis. It's Jannis.
It's Jannis.
Yeah, I found you, Jannis, and I watched everything I could get my eyes on. And I promise you, I'm sure you guys already know this, you're the only one out there. And now that I met Henrik, your channel's exactly the same way, that actually break down things step by step. So not only do I get to see the end product, right? But you actually opened it up and showed me step by step how to get to that end product for free, right? You asked nothing, which blew my mind because everybody else wanted you to join a community, to download a template, and then
It's so annoying.
even though you got the template, you don't know how to fill out the nodes and the modules and the JSON and this and that and all the little steps that are what I call the secret sauce, the things that actually make it work. You were freely sharing, which blew my mind. So anyways, I really appreciate you for that. And you too, Henrik. And because of your channel, Giannis, obviously through the community, which you never did pressure anybody to sign up for. You just made it available, and I would gladly signed up for it and paid for it because this was your free stuff. I couldn't wait to see what your paid stuff looked like, right? And anyway, so that's how I ended up with you guys. So did that answer the question?
Yeah,
Minute,
100%.
a 5-minute
Yeah, it
question.
did.
Short answer.
Could you share a little bit about your first project? As I mean, I talked to you about it a few months ago. That was probably like
Still
4 or 5
working on
months
it?
ago.
I'm actually still working on it. That's the
Yeah.
project that landed me the job, by the way.
No.
Yeah, so the first real project was creating a call center platform, basically an AI system that would replace a 30-man call center. This company's spending a ton of money, on well, you guys have talked about this numerous times, on the insurance and the payroll and the equipment, the phone bill, all of it, right? They're spending tens of thousands of dollars on this system. I created a system that would do that, that would make thousands of calls a day. And yeah, so I don't know. Does that answer the question?
Yeah.
More details of the project, or it's basically everything you guys taught me wrapped up into one system. I did have to go learn a few other things to make it work, but yeah, so that's what it does. It just
Yeah, it's always like this that you need to add in some extras. I mean,
yeah,
everyone comes
exactly.
from a different background, but that's part of business.
I'll give you a little background on what the company wanted, so that'll help you understand what I created. So it's a company, and what they do is they help people through all the tax stuff for business owners that get different tax credits here in the U.S., right? And so they've got this huge pipeline. It's stage 1 through stage, I don't know, 60. And each of these stages is a stage in their process where they have clients that are stuck, right? They haven't moved out of that stage into the next one. So at some point, they need to take action somewhere to get into the next bucket, so on and so forth. Now, this company doesn't get paid until the client receives their money from the IRS. So they have a call center that does outbound calls to each of these buckets. Hey, we noticed you're stuck here. You haven't moved out of this process. Here's what needs to happen next, right? And that's all these guys do all day long. They just sit there and call these people and prod them to the next stage. And so my system is only responsible for 4 of those buckets. That's all they wanted it to do, is to call the four most important buckets. They're almost done. They've done everything up to this point. They just gotta either print out the documents from their portal and sign everything and mail it to the IRS, basically. So I had to figure out a way. Okay, how do I grab leads? And the CRM they use is Zoho, and I've never worked with Zoho before. I worked with a lot of different systems, but never Zoho. And it was very cumbersome, and it took me 3 days just to figure out how to do the 2 auth. The 2 auth it took me 3 days just to figure out how to do that. But I figured it out, and so now my system will go in there, grab the leads from that bucket. And the way I did it was, it seemed impossible, maybe not impossible, but from my skill set, to have one AI system. And Henrik, I think you're the one that told me make 4 separate AIs. So that's what I did. I have 4 HTTP nodes that go and grab the leads. One is dedicated to a bucket, right? So I got four of those grabbing the leads. And then because each bucket is a different problem, right? A different issue where they're stuck, I created 4 VAPI assistants because the scripting would be different on each one, right? And less confusing to the AI that way. So I created 4 agents. And then when it makes the call, does what it does, then I have the end of call report, so I can update the CRM. So now they can go into their system, say, okay, this guy was called. Here's what happened on the call. Here's the summary of the call. Here's the transcript, and here's the call recording right there. And that was another thing, another 2 days to learn how to make those fields customizable in their Zoho CRM. So it would take the information and know where to drop it, right? So I had to create this whole section in the Zoho where my AIs can drop in the information, everything that happened on the call. Kind of like in your video where you taught me how to do Airtable, and you had the summary, the transcripts, the call recording, all of that. Except now I don't use Airtable. I like Supabase better. So I throw everything into Supabase, and then everything from Supabase gets shot over to the CRM. So it's kind of cool the way it works.
Yeah, sounds like a big system.
It is. It's N8N, and it's 5 different workflows, 1 main workflow and 4 sub workflows, because I also have, a workflow if it fails, the call fails, to retry it. If it fails to update the CRM, it'll try 3 more times. So there's a few, and then I have the information shot over to Slack at the end of the day. So like an end of day report that goes to the company Slack channel. So they can at a glance see, okay, how many calls did we make? How many failed? Total cost, that kind of stuff. So the managers at that company can have a quick update daily.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love that.
That's pretty cool.
What would you think? How long it would have taken you without the information that we've provided?
I would have never attempted it. It wouldn't have been a possibility. Yeah,
You're right.
There would be no timeline. I would look at it and flip through another YouTube channel. It wouldn't even be on my radar. Yeah, I'm zero clue where to start, how to do it, what it means to even do it. I mean, it's just us. It wouldn't have been a part of my world without this.
Yeah, then I think, I think that makes the next thing even more awesome. Because what happened now is you landed a full-time job, right?
Yes. So they saw, because of you guys, I did go out and get some clients doing inbound AI, right? Inbound. So like right now, one of my clients is a chiropractic office. And
That's a really cool story, that one. Could you like go into details of that one? That's a really nice one.
Yeah. So me and my wife, so I got into a slip and fall accident. So I'm seeing this chiropractor. My wife came with me one day, and she noticed how unorganized everything was in the front desk. So the way this is set up is these people that are helping the chiropractor, they actually work there. They do the chiropractic stuff for them. They're medical assistants. They're not like secretaries or what do you call that answer phones all day long. Anyway, she's like, we were talking about it, and I forget the exact details, but she looks at the chiropractor, the doctor there, and she's like, my husband can build you a system that can take care of all that, right? And that's it. That's all she said. He looked at me. He's like, you can? I'm like, yeah. And then he's like, okay, let's do it. It was that simple. And I did. I built them the AI that answers their phones. Now, they do have a really complex, because they do a lot of different services. So they didn't want me to have the AI set up the scheduling. They still want to do that. So I set it up where if anybody calls in, and it's not a money call, meaning they're not calling to schedule an appointment, right? Because the schedule appointments is what makes the money. So that all those calls will get filtered out, take a message, do everything that it does, the summary, the urgency levels, all of that stuff, right? So now at their leisure, they can go through all their calls and see, okay, high urgency calls, let's take care of these first. Mid urgency, let's take care of these next. Low urgency, we'll get to those later. And the only calls that actually get transferred to the front desk are people that requested to make an appointment. So that works well for them. And then they'll go in there and hand do that.
How many calls do you think it filters out every day, or like percentage wise?
Hundreds of calls. Hundreds of calls. Yeah, they're my biggest client as far as calls being made outside of this reason that I just did. Yeah, they're a pretty busy chiropractic shop. So this really saves them a lot of time, which is, at the end of the day, saving them a lot of money, right? Now they can focus on client care versus, in the middle of helping a client or a patient, then they got to stop, run to the phone, and to do that. That's what they were doing, back and forth, patient to the phone, patient to the phone, patient to the phone. And so my system just totally eliminated that whole mess for them, and they're very grateful. And because of that, now they're asking me to look at their other systems and see where else AI can, smooth things out for them.
Look at the cool shit we're doing.
Yeah.
Isn't it amazing?
It is. It is.
Oh, man.
And what's really amazing, check this out. Because of all of this, now I'm starting to learn about the MCP stuff. And so I am taking this whole system I just built, right? And I simply asked, ChatGPT, I'm like, what do you know about MCPs? And so it tells me everything it knows about it. I'm like, well, I've spent the last 3 months with you building this shit out. Are you telling me MCP would make this way better? It's like, yeah. I'm like, well, why in the 50 different times, different versions of you, has not one of you mentioned this to me, right? Oh, we're sorry. We thought you wanted it. So, anyways, I started playing around with it. And just before this interview, I got the MCP server to actually call me using one of my agents. So it works. I mean, that's all I needed to do is, okay, if it could do that, it'll be able to do everything else I needed to do. So all I do is,
Congrats.
yeah, so I'm going to delete the entire system I just built, and it's going to piss them off, but I'm going to try to make this MCP. So the AI agent says, okay, it'll say, I can tell it, okay, grab all the leads from these 4 buckets and call them, and then update the CRM versus hundreds of nodes that I've used to make this whole system work. And I'm sure I got a lot of redundancies, and I'm sure if you guys would have built the same system, it'd be a lot cleaner, a lot less nodes just because of your skill set. But where I'm at, I'm basically having AI build out AI. It's crazy. I shouldn't be doing this, but here I am doing it. But
No, I use AI to build out my AI, and I got AI within AIs.
it's crazy. It's crazy how we can do that. So I think I could be wrong, but I think building it with MCPs and AIs is going to be a lot less headaches. It's going to be a lot quicker to build out, and it's going to just run smoother and work better. That's the idea, anyways. So that's what I'm doing now.
How much? I'm glad you got the MCP servers running, because that would have been a whole different skill level area you would have delved into, right? It would have been like a scary thing to jump into. Do you remember how much money a month that you were getting from the chiropractor, roughly, just for like a retainer?
No, they don't pay me. I swap services. So now my wife can go in there and get service, and I can go in there and get service. So we're kind of trading services there.
Cool. How much would you have spent otherwise if you were to place?
Thousands. She gets these
Thousands a month, or you?
Angie, what's the name of the shots you get? NAD plus and a vitamin D shot, and I think alignments, all that. So I think hard money, we would probably be just on her alone about $600 a month if I paid for the services that she's getting.
Great.
And then if you double that for me, 1,200, and I've been doing this for the last 6 months now, maybe. So do the math on that. I couldn't afford doing it any other way. I mean, at this where I'm at in life right now, nor would I want to. That's a lot of money, on just so you could get your vitamin shots, But
That's a really interesting approach. Yeah.
she feels very good now. She went on a diet and didn't take the shots, and she felt like garbage, because she wasn't getting those vitamin shots. So yeah, it's impacted her health, my wife's health, and which makes me feel really good. So yeah, I was.
You can actually say voice AI helped your wife's health, which is I think the first time ever. I hear that.
Yeah, it's wild in the West what you can do. You just have to have the balls to ask, hey, so that's that. And then this, plus I got a 6-figure contract from this company I'm working for now, which really helps us out, And then I work from home. I have the freedom to work my other business, get other clients, even though it's a full-time contract with them, I'm not clocking in and clocking out, doing all that. It's a really good setup. I'm very, very happy with it. Yeah.
Maybe that's the future for some people, getting a 6-figure job and working remotely from home and not having to worry about leads. You just get paid
Yeah.
a fixed rate every year, let's say 200K, whatever that is.
Here's the insight. This is the thing that was really cool, right? Compared to you guys, I feel like a newbie, right? And but when you put me into their work environment, I'm their AI guy. I'm the expert. You know, nobody knows this stuff. Nobody. Let's go. And even everybody out there, there's no like real guru out there because it's so new. You know, we're all blazing a trail. You guys are blazing your trail, and we're learning skills. Because of skills I'm learning from you, I'm like, well, if it can do this, why can't it do that? And so I go off of my little trail and start, putting shit together. And it's just like the guy that I'm working with is a programmer for 20 plus years. You call him my supervisor, my boss, right? And he's really good. I mean, the dude's scary smart, when it comes to programming. And he's hired somebody that's also just as good as he is, if not better in some things. And they both look at me like I'm the expert. It's so weird, because when I show, because they almost didn't hire me. They hired 4 companies before they got to me.
Companies.
And companies that do this, right? And all 4 of them couldn't answer their questions clearly. Couldn't produce anything that, like, they tested them all, right? Like, okay, you have a week to do something, whatever the project they asked them to do, right? Just to prove that they could do it. None of them delivered in the week. And then it was my turn, right? I had no idea I was up against 4 other companies in this long string that they've been on the hunt, if you will. And so yeah, I showed them what I already built, because of you guys, right? And then answered all their questions. And so they hired me. And long story short, so I'm talking to them. They flew me out to West Virginia to meet the team. Yeah, they flew me out there to West. That's where I was last week. I was in West
Welcome to a plane.
I know, yeah. They're like, "Hey, Ron, we need you on this. We need you to be in West Virginia on Sunday," and it was like Friday. I'm like, "Okay, I'm there," right? And so yeah, they paid me for the week. They paid me for the week in advance. They flew me out to West Virginia, and I met the team and all that. So I finally asked the guy, I'm like, "Why me? Why did you hire me instead of those other 4 companies?" And he's like, "It's very simple. You were answering our questions before we asked them." Right? Because when I was on that Zoom meeting, I opened everything up like you do, Jannis, right? Or Jannis. I opened everything up. I showed them the codes, the nodes. I showed them the tech stack I was using. I showed them how the system works. And because I approached it that way, right? They hired me. They're like, "Welcome aboard, dude. You're the guy we've been looking for." So and to say all that to say this, so when I'm head to head with these guys that have been programming for 20 years, they truly do not understand AI. Cause he even told me, he's like, "I thought I'd be able to do this on my own, but when you showed me all that stuff, Ron, I'm clueless. I have no idea what any of that stuff is." And it's like, so it showed me the value that I brought to the table. Uh, I thought maybe they'd hire me for a couple weeks, learn my trade secrets, and then fire me and carry it on themselves. But they don't know what MCP is. They don't know, how AI is related and all the different systems and, how kind of it all works together. And nor do they want to know. They spent their last 20 years learning their trade. They don't want to spend the next 2-3 years. And that's another thing. By the time you got something licked, it's been updated. It's been upgraded. It's different. Like I've built this system now 7 different times because I keep learning something new. And I'm like, "Oh, that would work better than this." And boom, I tear it down. Now I'm doing it again. This is my 8th time deleting this thing, and now I'm going to be rebuilding it with MCP. And then you got the Google's A2A, right? Like, what's that going to do to this system? And then the other one, there's a new one coming out. It's just nuts, man. It's just nuts. The speed at which we're all traveling. So they don't have time to keep up with this. That's why they hired me. So that's like the job security, I guess. So and that's why I'm in your guys' community, because you guys are keeping up with all this, and it makes it easy for me to keep up with it. Go into the chats, see what everybody's talking about, and then Jannis, you're like on it. You do those daily or those weekly updates on what's happening in the industry. That alone is worth the money monthly. Just to stay updated on everything without having to. You could spend hours and hours on the internet trying to learn what's junk, what's a shiny object, and what's for real, right? And Jannis, you cut through all that, and I have faith that you're not posting garbage, right? So you're posting what's actually happening in the industry and what's real in the industry, what's working in the industry, and that keeps me updated. So when I'm talking to these guys, oh yeah, MCP this, and I'm using all these terms that I just read Jannis posting about. It makes me look super smart. I haven't even read the article yet.
But that's how it works, things are moving so quickly. It's and even for us being at the forefront, it's really hard keeping up. So I literally have like an hour a day where I just sit there and I read news and I educate myself on what's new. Ben Henrik, the one who implements everything.
Well, when you guys are sitting there doing your thing, just know that you're affecting a lot of lives. Like this is real lives. Like my wife is really married to me and my kids. They all depend on me, and I'm now making money because of the skills. Because you sit there 1 hour a day, that's probably boring as shit, maybe, and maybe you don't want to do it. Maybe you'd rather be doing something else. But because you're doing that, that affects me personally. Because I read those things when you post them. And then I make decisions based on that new information. Is this new? Because, I mean, it's so awesome. You'll say, hey, it's too early for production, but this is something you guys might want to keep your eye on. I take that serious, It's not like I run with it and start, putting it in my systems. It's just like, okay, let me learn about this. Let me keep my eye on it. Even the VAPI, like you talked about VAPI having its own MCP, I wouldn't have known that. It might have been months before I figured that out. It's not like I go into VAPI and look at all the different documents and see what's new versus what's been there. I don't do that. I don't have time for that. But when you mention it, then I put the brakes on. I say, okay, let me go check this out. So it's very much appreciated. I'm sure everybody else in the community would say the same thing. So
yeah, wow.
both of you.
I'm very happy I can make an impact with this. That's kind of the whole goal, right? I was just saying I didn't want it to build up another agency, so we decided to go into the educational route, and I think seeing results, seeing results like yours, that's literally what drives this whole thing. So for me, that's way more blessing than building another agency and just making solely money. So
yeah,
I appreciate you sharing that as well. That's very insightful.
Yeah, this interview was worth more than getting like a 30K deal. Like that stuff is just whatever, but this stuff here is real.
You guys are literally changing lives. You changed mine, and I'm sure you've changed others. So just keep up the great work, guys. It's very much appreciated.
Yeah, definitely will. Yeah, thanks. I appreciate you hopping on and sharing all of that.
Absolutely.
And I mean, obviously we're gonna see you around, and I hope we can continue leveraging the information.
Yeah. Well, if I hadn't changed this damn thing so often, I would have posted it to the group already. But I don't want to post something I'm in the middle trying to figure out. So once I get the MCP thing licked and have this up and running, I'll share that to the group, and then maybe I can give it to you guys. You guys could clean it out so you don't have all my APIs and things like that, and share it as a template or something. I think that would be
perfect. Yeah,
I think that would be
more than happy to do.
Way to say things.
Awesome. Yeah, I appreciate it. That's really, really awesome. I'm looking forward to the template. I'm looking forward to seeing what you brew up with that information.
So those are my 4 buckets. So that's the MCP server, and these are the 4 HTTPS and I turned them into tools.
Yeah,
right.
Beautiful.
So so now I can just click any one of these, which I'll do right now. Hold on. There it is.
Yeah.
So answer, watch this. Hello?
Hi, is it your name?
Can you guys hear that? Yeah, this is Ron.
Thank you, Rod. This is Sean with SETC Pros. I'm calling about your special tax refund application you started on our website. Is now a good time to talk?
Sure. What's up?
Thanks, Rod. Your refund has already been calculated for about the amount shown in your portal. There are just a couple of quick steps left.
Anyways, so it'll take you through there. I got to figure out why it's saying your name instead of my actual name. And then it's supposed to say the refund amount. Now, obviously, I'm not in the system, so maybe that's why it's reverting back to that. And it's an outbound call. That's why, so I designed it where it'll say, hello, kind of catch your attention, like people do. Like they call you and they hello. And they wait for you to say something. Yeah, this is Ron, right? So that's how that's set up. And works really well, by the way. and then it'll say, "Hey, Ron." It won't ask for the name. It's designed to verify we have the right person. So say, "Hey, is this Tony? Hey, Tony, yeah, dot dot dot. You have $3,200 refund still waiting on you. We just need you to take the next step, which is whatever the next step is, right?" And then, yeah, that's pretty much what it does. And then it's
Dude,
connected
amazing
to a
job.
RAG system. I have it connected to RAG, which has all the company's, stuff in there for like, what are the fees involved? Because they get all sorts of crazy questions, right? So the fees and how it works, and the banking system, and um, uh, all about the laws on the SETC, which is the self-employed tax credits. And so if anybody starts asking crazy questions, it'll be able to answer it. It has access to the RAG, which is where all their documents are being held.
Where did you
That's
store the RAG?
it's in Google. So the RAG system itself, I'm sorry. They train their own AI. So they put whatever they want the AI to know, they put it in a Google folder, right? The RAG system itself is in Supabase, Postgres. Yeah, so
Beautiful.
yeah, so I can show that to you.
Man, you built some cool shit. That's good.
And I don't even know half the battle. I wish I had your guys' knowledge. I'd be building rocket ships to Mars. See here, let me see.
Maybe you will, Jannis.
Yeah. So, MCP can like turn physical things on, printers and all sorts of shit. I'm just learning it all. I don't know how to do any of that. But I just take it one step at a time. I don't say no to anything. I say it can get done. And then I hit up old Chatty G. Hey, can it do this? I say, yeah, I can do it. Now, Chatty G is pretty optimistic. It'll say yes to everything, right? So I got to make sure it's not just running me down a rabbit hole, right? So I'll ask it the same question like 30 different times. And if it says yes all 30 times, then I go for it. But I'm going to show you the RAG real quick. Now, this is contextual. So what it does is and I learned this off a guy on YouTube called Cole. You guys might know who that is, Cole. And he's got a contextual RAG system that it chunks it before it chunks it. So what it does is it takes the chunk, it adds a context to that chunk. So when you're retrieving information, the AI will know what kind of a preview of what each chunk holds, right? So you get more accurate returns that way. You don't have to spend as many tokens because it's not searching the entire RAG system looking for something. So each chunk has its own little preview of what that chunk's about. So this RAG system will chunk it down, add the context to it, and then send it through the embedding process, right? And store it in Supabase. And then when you go to retrieve it, now the AI can know exactly what every single chunk is about. Which is super cool. I mean, it made my replies a lot more accurate. And I'm gonna
Yeah, Cole's got some cool videos on his YouTube channel.
Yeah,
He's like the blonde kind of young guy like Cole.
yeah, and he does it in the same fashion you do it, Henrik and Jannis. He doesn't hold anything back. Like he even gives you links to his GitHub repositories and the get started instructions. Like he shares it all like right there. I don't know if you guys can really see this too well, but that's the RAG system. And I'll be sharing this with you guys anyways. But I don't know if you can see it. Dang.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, that's pretty.
Yeah. So, I mean, and that was just a template and reading through and understanding it. And do I really need this? Is this going to work better? And why is it going to work better? And once I get my head wrapped around it, then yeah, so I'm going to use the same RAG system, not only for this, but the project they hired me for. They didn't hire me for that project we just talked about. They hired me for a different project. I'm under I can't talk about it like an NDA, so I can't share it here, but it's going to be huge, and it's all landing on my shoulders, for this system to work. AI is like 80% of the project that they're building out. And because of the systems I learned from you guys, is the only reason I got that job. So thank you.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I appreciate it, Ron.
Yeah. It's for us, just as well like a proof that what we do kind of worked in one way or the other. So everyone finds their own way and their own meaning in the information we provide. But that's why as long as we push it out and someone can find value in it, that's kind of all that matters.
If you have a good imagination, there's literally nothing you can't do. There's really anything like Solomon in the Bible. I don't know if you guys follow the Bible or not, but Solomon said there's nothing new under the sun. There truly isn't. AI, when you boil it down, is zeros and ones, right? It's just manipulating data, and all the systems we've have built up to this point, in my mind, this is my opinion, in my mind, anyways. It's just previous knowledge being built on top of new ways to do things, right? So it's just a knowledge stack over the generations, right? And AI is just really, really making that go super fast now. Now we got AI building AIs, it's just crazy. But it's still, at the end of the day, zeros and ones. So if it can be done already, it can be done better with AI, in my opinion. You just got to figure out the connections, to connect the dots, and okay, how can we do this faster, easier, better? How can we make the end user's life easier? Right now, we're typing everything into a chat. Okay, well, what if it could talk back? What if I could talk into it versus even typing at all? What if it knew my needs before I knew my needs? What if it can look down our process and say, hey, if we just move these things around here. And so it's just all, just in my mind, just visualizing it. And then if I can visualize it, I can build it out. I might not know how to build it out, but good Lord, just put in
That's our job.
time to learn it,
Yep. That's why we have AI, to just ask it how to build it up.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Well, that's awesome.
Hey, you guys want to know anything else? I'm an open book.
Good question. I mean, for me, that was already super, super duper insightful. I really love the fact that you managed to to get a job from the knowledge. That's insanely exciting. Like, I'm all for helping people gain freedom. Might that be financial freedom, location freedom, whatever that looks like. That's kind of like one of the highest values. So yeah.
Yeah, my goal is to be location free. And I've sort of achieved that with this job because I can work from anywhere. I don't have to be here at the house. I could be down at the library right now or Starbucks on my laptop. I mean, I could be at the beach as long as I have, internet connection. But it's still tied to a job. So I'm not quite there yet. I wasn't making enough money with my clients to be able to say that. But this job is a good step in the right direction.
Yeah, definitely. And what it brings you is industry experience. It brings
And connections. You cannot believe the people I've met because of this job already. And I have some of their top people calling me on the side. Hey, can you build me this for my company? Can you do that for my company? I'm all about loyalty, so I tell them no. If they want anything, go through the guy that hired me first. But it's like a taste of once people know what you can do, you should never have a problem with your phone ringing.
Just an idea, Ron. You could get some people from our community to help you with the other guys.
Well,
and you could get a cut from it.
I'm glad you said that because here's the deal. The owner of this company, before he hired me, he made me promise him I wouldn't die on Pride Mountain. And I'm like, what do you mean by that? He's like, I don't care if you have to hire an expert to come in to solve for something. You're our AI guy. But if you run up against something that you can't figure out, you better be smart enough to say, hey, I can't do this. I'm going to need to bring in somebody else to do this for us. And he's like, I don't care. We'll spend the money. It's not like he's going to replace you. It's just like hire the experts, put the smartest people in the room with you is basically what he's saying. And don't be so prideful that you don't ask for help. Right. So yeah, this company will definitely hire anybody that I recommend, if I run up into anything. So yeah, look out for that. This will be the spot. And this is when I said yes, I'm surrounded by really a lot of smarter people than me. I really was talking about this community, when I was telling him that. I told him, you guys don't have to worry about that. I've got the people already lined up that could help us do anything. So, so as far as that goes, absolutely. I'm ready to do that. I just haven't gotten that far yet. I literally started last week. So I just started implementing the MCP stuff on this. And until I get this knocked out, I can't actually move to the project that they actually hired me for. So which I'm starting all that stuff by learning the MCP stuff on this other thing. So, because that's what I'm going to be mainly building everything off of is AI agents and things like that. So I figure it's good practice, put it on this, see how it runs, understand the relationships and how everything works together. And then I could go into that a lot faster. My dad always taught me measure twice, cut once, right? So that's kind of what I'm doing now. I'm setting the groundwork for the next project by implementing it into this project here. Yeah, that's my goal.
I love that.
Yeah.
There's something that you will definitely like, because I always said MCPs are not there yet for like voice AI use.
Yeah.
The thing is, there's already platforms now that you can leverage to actually have a good outcome with MCP. There's a platform called Composio. I'm not sure if you've heard of them.
Composio?
Like you compose something, but with IO at the end.
Oh, okay.
It's an MCP platform, and what they do is they basically offer MCPs as a service. So they have an API that you can talk to, and they have a lot of MCPs. The good thing is they are all server-side event-based, meaning they are hosted. So rather than you using some UVX comment or NPX comment to spin up this environment, they are already live, meaning that the response time, instead of 30 to 50 or a minute, it takes you maybe 2 seconds, 3 seconds to get a response. So it's a lot quicker, and that's something that could potentially help you get even higher speeds.
Compose, COMPOS, then IO.
Yep, I think we have a chat here. Let me see if I can just drop that in here.
Yeah.
Posio. Okay, there it is. All right.
What's
What's the pricing like, I wonder?
It's a per calls, like amount of calls.
Okay.
100,000 API calls a month are $29. So that's
For
pretty
personal
cheap.
projects and learning, free forever.
Yep.
You get 100 user accounts, 10,000 API calls a month. Good Lord. That's generous, right?
That's generous, yeah.
And then it's $29 a month. Yeah, so this is cool. Thank you for that. See what I mean? Would I have ever even known about this thing? I don't know. Eventually, maybe. Probably not.
Yeah, there are always new things popping up, so
yeah, I know
also
there's
something new.
there's quite a few sites right now that like you sign up for them and then they give you access to all these different MCP servers and open source MCP servers too on GitHub. There's some there's one and I can't remember where it is now. I wrote it down somewhere, but if you go to GitHub, they've got a list of open source MCP servers, and I even learned to build my own MCP server. I figured, why rely on everybody else if I can build my own and just give it the tools that it needs. That's kind of what I was working on last week, was building, which I did, by the way. I was able to build an MCP server. I just couldn't add the tools to it. It kept malfunctioning. So I was actually going to hop on one of these trainings that we have in this community and kind of run that by you and see if we can't figure out how to spin up our own MCP server, add tools to it, and then be self-sufficient. I hate that's one thing about AI right now. You're so dependent on everybody else's platforms, and if it goes down, you're done. So my thing is,
That's why I started vibe coding my own things. Like I started vibe coding my own Whisper flow this yesterday in like 2 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I use Lovable thanks to you, Henrik.
Nice. Yeah, I remember the initial days you spent like 2 months trying to make that dashboard.
Yeah. But you know what? That's what got me that's what got me the chiropractic job. So because I got the chiropractic job, I had shit that I can show these people for this job that I know what I'm doing. Right? I didn't tell them it took me 3 months.
Oh man, so cool! Like little things that we do help others. Makes you feel really good.
Good.
It's good. I'm glad.
Well, I appreciate you both. I really do.
Yeah, same. I'm happy you found your way here. We always need cool people. So, yeah, that's it's good having you on.
Hey, since you're still here, honestly, thank you. Most people never get that far. They simply scroll away, but you stuck around, and that means a lot to me. Because really, this isn't just about learning some new tech. This is about getting more control back about your time and your work. That's exactly why I built the Voice AI Bootcamp, for people who want leverage rather than hype. It is all completely step by step with actually real outcomes. It's the same system that Ron was using to change his story, so you could carry it forward too. Inside of it, you'll actually learn how to build a real voice AI agency, even if you've never touched a single line of code. These systems actually and provenly bring you results. That's real clients and real income, and that quiet little freedom that most people only hope for.